Give it up for Sam. Here we go, buddy. We'll put it on the clock right there.
All right. My name is Sam Wegert, and I want to talk about creating a sense of belonging. Anthony Robbins says that the two greatest fears of every human being are that we are not enough and that we won't be loved. And so a lot of us struggle with that sense of belonging. I know I did growing up as a kid. I was homeschooled. I was the typical homeschooled weird kid that would tuck my shirt into my shorts and would just, I was a little bit unsocialized, just to put it mildly. I can remember this one time where we were sitting around in a circle and I just desperately wanted to belong growing up. All my friends at the time were older than me, and I wanted to be accepted by this group of people. And I remember one time we were sitting around in a group, we were just sitting around in the yard, and all of my friends were sharing one thing they wanted to accomplish in their life. And I was thinking, as it was coming around to my turn, I remember thinking, not exactly what I wanted to accomplish, but I remember thinking, well, what could I say that would impress them, where they would think I was a cool guy, I was one of them. And so one thing that none of my friends had was money, so I figured if I said I wanted to make a lot of money, then they would think that was cool. So finally, when it got to my turn, I kind of puffed out my chest and had the courage to stand up and say, I was 11, 12 years old at this time. And I said, one day, I will be a millionaire. And my buddy next to me just looked over at me and scoffed. I was like, come on, Sam, like that, it just put me down. And it's like, that's not important. Money's not important. And I remember thinking in that moment, I will show you. And maybe if one day I'll show you, then you'll accept me. So I struggled with belonging growing up. In 1999, a young high school student entered a high school and with his friend shot up the high school, killing 15 other students and injuring 25. And the mother of the shooter said in a TED Talk, I actually just watched the TED Talk last night, that her son struggled with isolation, struggled with hopelessness, and struggled with a feeling of perfectionism and self-reliance. He struggled with belonging. If you don't believe me, I did some research last night too on suicides, and I just kind of was like following that path. And I don't know if you know this or not, but suicides, there are 121 suicides that happen every single day. I didn't know this, that it's the second leading cause of death among youth between the ages of 10 and 35. So we struggle with belonging. I believe there's something that we can do about it. This led me to kind of do even some more research, and there was this guy, Albert Snyder, and he's a leading expert on people who end up completing suicide, and he says that among all people who commit suicide, he said they all struggle with a sense of hopelessness, isolation, self-reliance, and perfectionism. Belonging is very important. I believe it's very, very important. You know, what's even more interesting about that is as I was listening to that, I said, wow, I think of myself, like in our culture today, we celebrate self-reliance. We celebrate perfectionism to a certain extent. So what can we do? What could we do to elevate the sense of belonging in our communities, in our culture, in our families, maybe just by even 1%? What could we do? And I believe there's 3 things that we could do, and I want to share those with you. Number 1, we can speak to other people's potential. Not their actuality, not where they are right now, but we can speak to where they could be. We can speak to where they are becoming. My dad did an amazing job of this. I was teaching martial arts when I was 11 years old, and my dad was taking my class because he wanted to get his black belt from his son who was teaching classes. And I remember coming home every night after I would teach a class with my dad in it, and I would kind of tiptoe in, and I just remember thinking, like, I wonder what my dad thought of my class. And I was so fortunate because my dad never missed an opportunity to say, great class, Sam, amazing class. Not one time did he miss that. But I thought about this. I thought about, looking back on it now, I thought, those classes weren't good. I was 11. I was just starting to teach martial arts. But he spoke to my potential. So if you're a coach, if you're a parent, in whatever culture you are in, whoever your people are you speaking to their potential, or are you just speaking to what you see right then and there in front of you? So number one was speak to their potential. Number two is creating a community and an identity. My family also did an amazing job of this. My dad would take us up and down the grocery store aisles, and he would tell us, Mr. Sam, we're Wegerts. We don't buy junk food. We eat healthy. You're a Wegert, And he gave me an identity, something that was a little bit exclusive. This is how we act. This is how we are. And so are you doing that for the people in your community? Are you creating a sense of community? We do it in our martial arts schools. I run a company called UpLevel Martial Arts. And as martial artists, we teach them that, when you put that white belt on, when you put that black belt on, you are a black belt. Even if that belt isn't black quite yet. It might be a white one, but you can start acting like a black belt right now. So it gives them an identity. Are you creating an identity for the people in your community? Are you creating a culture for them? And number three is vision. Creating a vision, constantly painting a picture of a better future, constantly creating a picture of a better future. In martial arts, we do that by always having another goal. If you're a yellow belt, you want to become an orange belt. If you're a black belt, you want to become a second-degree black belt. If you're a 10th-degree black belt, which is like the highest, you want to become a master. And we create, I believe these things, speaking to potential, creating a community, and then always painting that picture of a vision, I believe those are the antidotes, if you will, or could be antidotes to the hopelessness that we all have struggled with at some point in time, probably in our own lives, and that a lot of other people struggle with but don't reach out for help for. Say this with me. Speak to potential. Create a community. And painting a vision. They say that you can live 3 weeks without food. I've heard it said that you can live 3 days without water, 3 minutes without air, but not even 3 seconds without hope. So I believe together we can up-level the level of community and the level of belonging we feel in the world by following these three things. And I want to do that through my company by creating 74 million, that's 1%. That's 1% of the world's population by creating 74 million black belts. Because I believe through that's at least my lane. I can create community and hope in the world. Thank you very much.
Sam, beautiful, buddy. Awesome, awesome.